Did that sound and look familiar? Well, in case you figured it, this is the kitchen scene from the original Jurassic Park. Today we are rebuilding this iconic scene from the first movie in our main park, Jurassic Palms 1998. And with that, welcome to the time lapse of me building this kitchen scene, which of course is going to be a blueprint you can download from my workshop. You can figure that out yourself. It is fully working. The Velociraptors are walking through the habitat mostly correctly, I shall say. More about that later. I'll explain a bit why. I also included you guys a measurement item to find out how you can control the movement of your dinosaurs, because as we have collision in the game with the in-game pieces, we now can control where our animals walk, and also with clever positioning of food and water and stuff like that, you can make them even run and make them move through certain areas the way you want. But with the tense and suspense music in the background, I wanted to recreate this kind of horrific theme of the two kids really being chased within that kitchen. And I was taking some reference shots from the movie, but I took also a bit of creative license to make it a bit more of my own version, to go a bit more in line with the game. There are still a couple of limitations I needed to overcome. More about that when we get to them. But I wanted to make it as accurate as possible with the looks of it. And also, one thing that helped tremendously is the brand new lighting system in this game. In case you haven't seen my yesterday's videos, where, by the way, the first episode of this overall project over here we are building in has aired yesterday. It's Jurassic Palms 1998. In case you haven't seen it, make sure to watch it so you know a bit better what the context of it is. This habitat over here is a way later addition to the park. It actually should be episode number 6. But I decided to really bring that out to you guys because I just can't hold the excitement anymore to show this to the world. You can see me plopping down a lot of the pieces in the game to figure out which pieces work best for the kitchen scene I had in mind. And you can see there are just so many freaking good pieces in the game. And with that, let's get to some more enjoyable music at the end of the day, because it is a very enjoyable build. These pink blocks over here, you can see, they are the measurement for where the dinosaurs have to move or can move. This is exactly 3 meters and 10 centimeters wide. Don't ask me why, but this is exactly the width you need to have for a grown-up adult Velociraptor of 100% size to move through certain buildings. It doesn't even matter. So if you want to build a tunnel, it needs to be at least 3.1 meters wide. And again, I have put a little measurement piece in, so it's very easy. You can use like a little slider to see where the animals can move. I'll show that in a real-time part so you guys see exactly how that works. But yeah, I was really keen on making this very early on to not build anything that is awfully big and or small and then have the issue. But I also wanted to get some early tests how small I can get, and frankly I was able to get exactly down to the size that fit the kitchen. I wanted to get into a size that is realistic. I upped the scale about, I would say, factor 1.2, which funnily enough is a factor I figured is quite often the case in the Planet games when it comes to matching a realism build. And I know this sounds very odd in the Frontier games, because usually Frontier is a bit bigger with the pieces per se, and you should make them smaller. But when I think it has to do with the in-game dimensions of the dinosaur model in comparison, or like also the other models of doors and whatnot in comparison to the pieces themselves. Anyways, but with that little scale ability, I was able to achieve a look that is very familiar to the kitchen scene, despite the fact that the in-game dinosaurs may actually be that tad bit bigger than the counterparts in the movie, or respectively the ones in the first movie, I should say, because we had different variants of the Velociraptor, of course. There's also a male Velociraptor in here. You've seen that maybe in the footage, which is solely in for the purpose of breeding, which makes sense. But then again, it looks a little bit more towards the Jurassic Park 3 variant with the quills on top, because we don't obviously have the 1993 version of a male Velociraptor, because all the Velociraptors in that one have been females, just in case you were wondering. I am aware of that, but I needed to have a male in that just eventually crossed through. But it just, and nevertheless, it looked so horrific and nice. I used some of the light sources here as plates, and yes, I forgot to turn them off. I went through the entire build later on and manually disabled them all. It was horrific. The first time I put the whole thing on night lighting, I was blown away like a flashbang, because everything was glowing from every corner of the build, because I did copy around these plates. By the way, if you want to build kitchens yourself, the happy little coincidence has it that all the counters I built over here will be available as individual blueprints, so you guys can build your own kitchens. You don't even need to build this very kitchen over here. If you want to build another kind of industrial kitchen for your facilities, you can utilize these pieces and, you know, change them to whatever you want them to be. It's been a bit of a struggle to build them, and also let me say, sometimes it's way more clever to keep the game on play while you build something, because let me tell you, I'm using some of the air vents over here, and what do you think what air vents do? Well, they do vent air, and they have an effect of little steam coming off of them. So when I was done with the table and put that into place and hit the play button eventually, I was weirdly annoyed by some crazy mist inside of the room, so you could barely see anything, and that was down to the fact that all of my freaking tables were misting and venting and doing stuff, which wasn't even great for the performance, to say the least, but it also looked kind of shabby. So at some point, I needed to completely redo the tables, which was a bit of a hassle, but eventually I ended up with an even better version that I liked a couple bits more. I did a couple variants. You know, we have got one variant with the sink, we've got this variant over here with the grill station, so to say, where we have some of the gas cans also underneath. Like, who would store that in a park? I mean, this, you know, it's been the times where that was usually the case, but I would be like, who the heck would store that in a park with dinosaurs? But I guess you must, because you need some energy anyways. But yeah, as you can see, I've been using so many pieces, and then this was the moment of realization. I cut out the bit where I was looking inside the house. I ended up using the air vents for the cooking station though, because it get that really cool effect. You may have seen that quickly on the left hand side. You can still see that. It really looks like as if the whole table is been cooking too much, and now it's steaming because of the heat coming from that cooking station that is burning. So I thought, you know, that was a cool effect of the vents doing some coincidental cool effect in there, and so I left them in. But then I figured some of the support beams over here, rotating them in a certain direction, gives you a very cool kind of metallic, slightly glossy, slightly matte, which is exactly the way I wanted to go for, to make it not too glowy inside of the house. You know, it's a bit of a hassle to create, because you have to keep in mind how the global illumination works, and if you take stuff that's too glossy, the whole thing almost becomes wet looking, and then it doesn't really match this kind of appeal I wanted to have, because then the dinosaurs would look kind of off in that whole scene. And yes, frankly, I have to say, this is obviously all just for the viewing gallery. So from inside of the viewing gallery, if you click inside the viewing gallery and check views, you will have an insane view of the kitchen, which is pretty damn good. At some point you can see I even changed the size of it a little bit, because I figured, okay, it would be a little too less. Simply because of the size I opt for, I needed to make that a bit bigger. But yeah, at a certain point, it was all about filling in the areas and copying around some of the pieces, making sure certain things stand in here. Some of the locations of items are really like in the movie, in case I'm not sure how many times you've watched that, but some of the stuff in the sinks and the positioning of some of the baskets is exactly what it is in the movie. I even tried to recreate some of the coffee cups that are standing somewhere randomly on a table. So I was already trying to, there you have them, by the way. I was already trying to pay attention to the detail, to where certain things are. But at some point I was like, again, as I said, taking the creative license in order to achieve a very iconic look, but make it work with the game. And then I found these decals, and that's when everything was over, you know, because these decals are just a game changer. It makes the whole thing look so much different in terms of making it used, which is exactly what I wanted to have. This displays in the movie as well looks kind of used despite the park not even being open, but you can really envision that this kitchen has been one of the things that needed to be running from the very beginning in order to make food for the staff and so on. So that naturally was already a thing, but you can see I was trying to mimic a couple of other things, having some plates and holders for them to drain and dry off, and what do you call them, dry racks, I think that's what they're called, where you can put the plates in, and you know, these kind of things I try to bring in order to just make it look nice. But you can already tell how the whole thing comes together, and at some point I was like, okay, now I need to kind of figure out how to do the roof. Again, we do not have proper glass pieces that are transparent, which in this specific case was even not that big of an issue anyways, because I did these ceiling things in the movie. I think they are not even glass roofs. They are just like ceiling lamps or whatever, but I figured that the glass piece itself looks pretty much exactly like the kind of ceiling thing they had, and I did put some of the ceiling lights in just in order to get the light source from over there, and it does really do the trick at nighttime. It really looks fantastic. Copying around the pieces here, just making sure that I have the exact counterparts to both sides. Yeah, just in order to make the kitchen look really nice and also give the viewing gallery its final makeup, I should say. This is exactly what I needed to make the whole building appear so different from what I've done or what was possible in the old Jurassic games, you know, creating a scene. And I made them walk from A to B the whole time, and I said that earlier, I guess, as well, by a very clever placement of the food and water sources, because it appears that if you put the lake on the one side and the the meat station and the goat provider on the other, then the animals will always traverse from one side to the other in order to fulfill their basic needs, which is kind of cool, because sometimes for hunting you have them running through getting after a goat, but you can't see the goat because it's on the other side. And I don't know why exactly, but the goat cannot traverse the kitchen as it seems, which is a bit of an odd one. I thought that one is smaller, but it may not actually follow the same kind of rules of the traversable area. I don't exactly know. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how it goes. This is also why the tutorial isn't finished yet for you guys. I've been working a lot on it, but it's not finished yet because I need to figure out a couple of things. So yeah, I wanted to then tie the whole building into our 1998 inspired theme park. In case you haven't gotten the call what exactly this is about, and you got to this video because you like this kind of kitchen scene, this very iconic one, this all is part of a bigger project I've started yesterday. Again, Jurassic Palms is the name of it, and the basic idea is a working Jurassic Park on the mainland, which has been started developing in 1998, so just after the San Diego incident, and trying to do that whole thing. And then this is also why we're featuring a lot of late 90s inspired architecture with typical kind of color vibes, but also inspired by those things. We will do some very kind of cultural inspired things and pop culture references, and it's not been the last movie, let's say, that we're going to get into this project. So if you're into that, make sure to sub to the channel. There's a lot coming in the upcoming weeks. I've prepared a lot of videos for you guys, and I would be so happy if you can subscribe to the channel. As you know, this is the best way to support a YouTuber these days. This is to make the algorithm know at least very clearly that you like the content. It's one of the most valuable currencies for us, despite the fact many of us, including me, we've gotten used to finding our content on the front page anyways without subscribing, and I feel myself guilty for that too. I also have to remind myself of following people and content that I like all the time. So yeah, if you like it and you want to see more in the future, it doesn't hurt. I'm still on your front page anyways, but I am there with a more higher guarantee, let's put it that way, no matter what YouTube thinks to be doing to their algorithm. Okay, fine, that was a nice plug of mine, but other than that, this is the front area, kind of the front plaza for the Velociraptor area. It may look a bit weird because I have these like kind of huge walls. You can download all of these, by the way, as a blueprint. I have it in my workshop for you guys in case you like these huge walls as well. The thing about this is, we will arrive here by a truck tour. So it's going to be a remote viewing, which is only, accessible via the truck ride. But I wanted to kind of still make this feel like a bit more of an area to really get to. So we will also have like a bit of a facility here. And there will be an additional viewing that we are building in the normal series when we are getting there. As I said, this should have been the 6th or 7th episode. It will still be there, but it won't feature the kitchen scene because that kitchen alone took me a couple hours to build, so that would have been a little bit too much for like all one episode. And yeah, just I have been way too hyped to just bring that out to you guys. I'm just in general so hyped about building this. This, by the way, is the setup with the 2 sides. It's just a temporary setup. It's gonna be changed anyways, but I wanted to at least give you an idea how I made this. Yeah, we're almost done with the time-lapse part. Here you can see I'm doing the lighting from the inside a bit more, making sure that everything looks good. And I figured then that unfortunately the lights are only triggered when you're at dusk or nighttime, which I hope Frontier is going to change, that you have a kind of override that you say, okay, just be activated all the time, no matter what time of day. Anyways, let's have a look how it's looking in game, and jump in. Alright, so welcome to the real-time part, and we are just beginning with a view from the viewing gallery, and we can also try to catch the other one, just skipping through these different viewing points. You can see, yeah, there is still a bit of glitching going on here and there. I needed to make some walls have no collision, because otherwise they wouldn't walk through here correctly. But we can see if we can catch more of these lovely animals. In comparison to my testing, I have now enlarged the habitat quite dramatically. So maybe we are not as lucky as we were used to be before, because the habitat to the left and to the right was kind of tiny. But I wanted to achieve something nicer now. We can hear someone. It's actually, this is the tension. And there you have one. There's another one. Look at this. Ooh, that is so cool. Just walking through there, through the kitchen. Look at the scenes. That is the viewing we wanted to have. There we can see them. Let's see if the other one comes now this way. Yeah, now it finally takes the correct way. Okay, well, almost. Almost, I should say. What's the other one? Yeah, the other one is taking the real exit. I changed these things to... Hi, mate, that is not fair. The showcase is not meant to be this way. There are a couple of things I have changed already for a future episode. There are a couple of little quirks and issues I have figured out now, but I did forget to save. So I need to redo that again, but it's not dramatic, it's not just... I love the way how it's kind of... Look at this one with the steam fog coming off of this thing, just that little fire burning, almost as if there has been a fighting scene here, and now the Velociraptors took over. Oh, look at that one, just going quick through here. Yeah, that is exactly what I meant. This is so cool. This is like exactly that kind of scare effect that goes. And imagine if you're like somewhere here in the viewing gallery and like, hey, where are they, and then zoom, they're like just passing by. This is so cool. Oh, look with the rust over there on the cooking station. Oh, it's so good. I love that. Let's see if we can catch one more to see if that just like... Oh, I feel the tension in here. Everything about this build just makes me enjoy this game so much. This is something that has not been possible in any other game. I mean, realistically, in Prehistoric Kingdom, you could do it, but then you don't have the Velociraptors from Jurassic Park, which to be honest, they are kind of the horror. They are part of the horror, But also, look at the light reflections here with the full ray traced environment is so cool, like with the color of the fire burning here, and then all the light reflections, and having other colors over here, and the red light on. I'm just like so madly in love. Oh, it's just like checking if someone is here. What's also pretty cool is if we go out and then we do take the first person view. There's one going in. Oh, look at that. Have you seen that? Have you seen this? Let's see if we can follow that one around. We are like also Velociraptor in our wonderful area. I could also make them like they take the fastest route around. Oh my god, scary. I should definitely make that one have collision now as well, so they will take that route out. I think that should work. There's the moon, there's the habitat out here, but they will always take the quickest route through here. This is also why they might punch through here. We could make them also walk around here. so that they take this route and go all the way around here. We just need to throw something in the ground here and make this have collision. So that is the solution to that issue, I guess. And then the dinosaur would not take that route anymore. You know what? I'm just gonna quickly show you, okay? So we do take the time, because that should then, change the dynamic a little bit. So if we go and edit this group, we should just check these pieces, confirm, and turn the collision on. So now they should not be able to move through that one anymore. There are also some rust pieces. We need to lower them to the ground because they were kind of annoyingly on there. So just move them there, just did the little thing. And now we can just take one of the two boxes actually, and plop them to the ground, just like so. And then edit the group. Just these two, confirm, and say collision on. And now, wait, are you even taking the route around? Ah, okay, because these buildings have no collision, right? But you should then go down at least and use the actual exit, right? Yes, you do. You do the same. So there's still too much space for you to go through here. Okay, well, actually, in that case, we are going to make, that thing and that thing and that and that and that. Confirm them all and have them collision. So now that should actually work. There's another one coming. Let's have a look if that works. We go back into the first person view and see if that one now takes the other route. It should then, if it comes through here, they should now be able to take a different route. Or maybe I did destroy it. That could also very easily have happened. So sometimes it just is too much and then they just can't walk through here. We should just wait for a second. But now in the first person view, you do get the idea of what I meant, the different sizes. Like the kitchen, because I'm in the person's size. Like for the door, that's all good. But all the counters and stuff, they are way too big, as you can tell. You know, that's like no counter where I could technically cook. It just didn't work. I would have needed to make them smaller. But in comparison to the Velociraptors, I think this is exactly the size I wanted to have. So let's see now if we can get anyone come over here. Just gonna do something about this now. Just let's have the time go into the viewing gallery, and we have the toggle. There's one in the back here. I'm not sure if they will make it eventually. Where are the other ones on the other side? There's another one. Maybe it's coming, or they're just fighting. I think I broke it with making turning the collision on of these things, because I remember I did get them out. Oh, what about you? Are you coming eventually over? Let's see. I'm just gonna see if this one is walking this path now. Okay, it's turning around and going away. Wait, hold on. Are you taking... Oh my goodness me. Stop. I'm gonna go slow-mo, and then... I was misclicking. That was my bad. Show the view. And now we're gonna go... There you go. What are you doing even? Why are you turning around? You could just have taken the route. Oh, wait. Oh, hold on. There's another box on the ground. I think I put this one down. So they can't really get out now. Ooh, but look at how precise. Oh my god, that was so close running around this thing. It's so good. I did hide some pieces in the middle in order to make it go through. Okay, but hold on. I should then be able to, if I do take this box real quick. I hate that it always is moving out. They should definitely change that. It's so annoying that the camera always flies all the way out. So let's take that thing and turn the collision off and move it a little bit closer to this one. So here goes that. I think then our dinosaurs should, or Velociraptors should actually now walk through here again. Let's use the normal play speed. And I think now they have the ability to walk through here again. Let's see, there's one coming already. So now you should make your way through. Let's have a look. That looks all good. That looks good to me. You're doing it, right? Oh yeah, you're just taking that wall. Are you just going through that? Yeah, of course you do. Of course you do. Sure, yeah, I forgot about that. So, oh my god. My stupidity kicking in. How about editing that again and making sure you do not glitch into that one as well? Yeah, just stop it, okay? Collision on. And now, this is your time to move. I think the other one, it was just about to take the correct route now. See. Okay, you coming in now? You taking that route, you running through? Yes, sir. I think now it's working. Might be that these also need collision, but you can tell this is how exactly it works. I fixed that once, and then I broke something. I needed to change a couple of things, but Yeah, okay, that was a bit too... Oh my god. There's a tiny bit in here which is collision technically, so I need to make that tiny bit move a bit further out. But yeah, I think you get the idea. It's actually, it's pretty good, okay? I'm all fine with this. I should also, if I'm in the mode, I think I should have a torch, which is... Oh yeah, there you go. Oh my god, this is horrific. We can make some horror walks with it if we want to. Just like... Oh! Wait, if I... Yeah... That is so cool. We can make, like, with this now and the full ray tracing, we can make some really cool kind of horror themes. Oh my god, this is so terrific. Ooh, gosh. Hello, my friend. Oh my... Imagine you're, like, hiding in a corner and then, like, this thing is passing by. Oh my god. That is so haunting. Oh, full darky over here. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, you get the idea. Let's quickly have a look outside, because I also did build a little bit of the outside, and this is basically where the guests arrive. You'll have that little bit of a plaza. There's the rest of the park is all the way in the back, which I'm not going to spoil right now because we are in the future episode. So, like a future build, not future episode. It's the second episode, but you know, there's more coming tomorrow. I'm very much looking forward to that. But here we have it. The Jurassic tour is bringing people over to this spot, and then they will come out of this one eventually and sit here, enjoy the time, you know. They're like very impersonally sitting here staring at the wall. I'll be putting some more staff facilities and so on over here once we are getting to this one. And also the habitat itself will not remain the way it is. I want to make sure that this side is going to be completely open with a huge kind of ditch being the actual you know, separation, natural separation, and the rest is going to be more security than what we have over here. Even though that these in-game walls do the job, I want to have some proper walls like these, and then hide this by putting a lot of foliage in front of them, like using some of the tricks that Jurassic Park, Jurassic World also just offered in the movies, but also realistic like habitat designs of lions and so on would do. So that is kind of the idea. But I think you guys now have an idea of what I've done over here. I am super proud, and I will upload this to the workshop. Either it's already in the workshop so you can grab it, or I'll be uploading it right after this one tonight, so make sure to check out the workshop and download that. I didn't want to download put this into the workshop before. I didn't want to spoil anything, so this is why it's not been in there before, but it is definitely an absolutely bonkers thing over here. I really do like that. I love what I did over here. You know what? I'm just gonna go back into the view one last time. Let's go to the upper view because you've got that kind of nice little raised area. And then let's have a look at the focus mode. There's one coming. Are you coming in here? So we have a last little look. Yeah, we have a last little look. There you go. Just gonna come by us in front. Oh, that is so good. I think I should open up them more. I think I'm not sure if I can, but if it's possible to create multiple routes by making two routes almost like the identical distance between those two gates, it should be that they take different routes depending on where they want to go on the other side. So that, you know, we can do some stuff. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. I had mega fun doing this. I hope you were entertained and you enjoyed that. And there's a lot more coming like this. You can download all the kitchen pieces from the workshop if you want to create your own kitchen if you want to. And in any case, if you want to help out a funny camel building weird things online, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. That helps me a lot, and I would love to see you part of the channel now. And yeah, I can't wait to talk to you in the next one. Until then, have a good time. And oh, by the way, if you want to purchase the game, you haven't already, there is a link here in the description where you can purchase the game from, and you help me directly because it's going to be via Frontier. It's an exclusive, you know, it's an exclusive affiliate link only for this game, only for a short amount of time, where I do gain some stuff from, and you can benefit having the game. Just mentioning, okay? So thank you so much for your patience and for everything. Thank you so much, and I talk to you in the next one.